Kobe unplugged my mic.
I was not ready for that one. That was a new one.
I still hear you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I stopped hearing myself.
Yeah, we can just.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll not be awkward at all.
The
for the
Doug
rest
duel
of the
isn't
game.
that close.
Accurate statement.
Two separate.
Okay, Kobe, you want to be in the middle here? Give us some.
Welcome back,
Thank
David
you.
Phreak Turley.
It's glad to be back.
For those of you that don't know, he's currently on the Balance team, but he used to be goated caster.
Yeah, you see how York's getting banned like he's pro viable right now? That's my fault. I caused that one.
I
Sorry.
appreciate that, actually. You're an enthusiast over
Yeah,
here.
I know. Thanks for letting us win game 1 against that one.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, 2-0 to Azael a couple months ago in the Right Rumble. Was not because of me.
You know, these things happen.
Phreak still has it.
Sure. Either way, of course, we're in the draft here for game 2, FlyQuest. Heavy favorites coming in. I mean, yeah, okay, 3-2 in the winner bracket final. They won their slobber knock here in game 1. For my shirt gag, I had them winning as well. So, you know, looking pretty good so far. Blue team and Yone actually left up and grabbed.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see, you know, if they do take it. Of course, Poppy up and available. We do see the Taliyah banned away. You know, we have seen teams be willing to leave this up, but generally with a plan. You know, when things like Taliyah Poppy are available, you know, they feel that they can actually answer that. But the fact that it was actually a Taliyah ban by FlyQuest on red side really does kind of feel like it's opening the door here. So I'm super curious to see what Quad is going to bring to the table, because it just feels like such an obvious first pick Yone.
Yeah, especially since FlyQuest have been one of our most creative team, if not the very most, you know, fearless team. Always crafting here for the best of fives, their counter picks. So let's see what it will be. Now, Elise, I know Busio does still like to play as support, but that's just a little hover there. So we are going to get the Annie brought back.
Yep, so Andy is going to be the answer here in the main lane. Obviously, when you are playing against some of these evasive melee mids, well, point and click CC, very powerful against that.
Yep.
You know, and if you do pair it with like an aggressive AD jungler, something that you can actually set up for it with, it would make a lot of sense. Trundle does kind of fit the bill. Point and click stun onto the Yone, be able to follow that up with the Trundle coming in, and also is a bit of a denial pick to some of these popular tanks that are in the meta.
Yeah, it's been really strong. It's cool to see Trundle come back in. I want to point out one minor mechanical interaction of Annie versus Yone. Yone's E respects damage actually dealt to the health bar, so you do an Annie shield. None of that is tracked for the pop back, so you get sort of like 1.3x value on any mitigation like that.
Got this
Venmo? He showed it to me after the game, and I was like, that's pretty good. I like that one.
Thank you.
3. Can we get, you know, cycle through them?
Oh, I actually really like this too. So, you know, he was kind of anticipating that it was going to be a tank jungler potentially coming out here. So it will be the Maokai. Of course, you can go phase rush. You can still go AP. We'll see if they do leave him as a potential solo AP to try to answer so he doesn't have to just build tank into this Trundle.
Yeah, they have nerfed. Actually, when I say they, I mean Phreak. You know,
Hi, what's up?
He did recently nerf, you know, Leandries and a little bit of these things, taking some power away from the AP Maokai, but still very much a viable option. And whenever you have Maokai ultimate for CC plus Ambessa ultimate CC and Yone, like this engage from the side of Cloud9 starts to look very, very powerful.
And I feel like Thanatos is the guy in our league I trust most playing Ambessa. He is so good on this pick. If you put him ahead, he can absolutely take over a game.
I will say, coming back to the Trundle pick, though, not only is it good into Maokai, but it is kind of deceptive how good Trundle is at ganking mid lane with Pillar, especially if you're just holding the Pillar. And against the melee champion, you can speed in there, you can get your chomp on, or if you have an Annie set up, and then Pillar after the flash is often very, very effective. But we'll get into the bottom lane bans here very shortly, because topside was answered to like Aatrox into Ambessa after those Aatrox changes.
And we saw Zven actually playing the Ziggs yesterday, so they're respecting the fact that there could be a Ziggs bot here. They're going to actually ban that away from him. Obviously, yes, it could be AP Maokai, but you do have double AD solo laners, so you're going to want more AP generally than that, especially if there is a tank on the other side. So, you know, we are kind of looking at some potential AP bans here still coming out from FlyQuest.
Let's go down for a while, but yeah, I'm curious. He's not the type to really play Swain or Karth or anything, so... I mean, you've got ones who do some magic damage, but you've got Kai'Sa and Varus who are often in that build gone as well. So, I mean, if you're full AD, you don't have a good cleaver player, so yeah, it could be a little bit rough.
It'll be interesting to see where they go. Cloud9 obviously going to be banning away the Kalista. Massu has been very good on it. And when you're thinking about some of the pairings, like obviously Renata would be very good into C9's composition. You already are showing 3 melee, you're showing dive. So banning away one of the most common pairings there with the Renata. And it would be interesting to see if they just ban the Renata itself, because honestly, I feel like you can kind of play it with whatever AD. I don't think that it has to just be tied to the Kalista. And it does feel like a really strong answer to what Cloud9's first 3 is showing.
I think Senna might actually work here. She is a cleaver builder. Slot 2, it's not that late. And anytime you got these double dive buddies, I mean, Yone and Ambessa is such a good combo together. One of lines are, the other one's guaranteed at that point. Whoever the backliner is dying. I like having some level extra help there, right? Senna ult's so good at kind of helping them get over the top as well. And it would allow them kind of to fix the comp a little bit.
Ooh, interesting. So you're mentioning, you know, like bottom lanes that have counter engage as far as Renata. You know, Nami, who is a pairing with Lucian, or Melio, both of them have some counter engage options for themselves.
And they're just going to leave support for last. We don't really see any pairings except Nami or Melio.
It's going to be one of those two for sure.
Yeah. So it's like if you're going to draft some sort of like obvious hard CC that you can cleanse with Emilio, it's probably going to be Emilio. Otherwise, it's likely to be the Nami. So given that it is Ezreal Karma down on the bot side, I'm expecting it more likely to be the Nami. Obviously, there is the ability to cleanse off all of the Maokai CC with Melio, but that is the only thing, and I don't think that it really warrants like having to pick it.
And I just got an update, Phreak, because you were mentioning the Senna as a possible good pick for Cloud9. The misban here from FlyQuest was Senna.
Oh, okay.
So they agreed with you. They also thought it would have been good for C9.
And not an actual misban, just not updating on the UI. They did get it in-game, so it was banned away. And it is going to be the Nami, kind of as expected. You know, unless there's something that's more of an obvious CC that you want to cleanse, you're almost always going to go with the Nami. Does have, I feel like, the kind of better offensive power, and we'll have to see how Massu can perform on this, because he is one of the Lucians in the league that really can play it aggressively, that can play it very, very well. And excited to see how he'll perform. Yeah,
transitions super well into that mid priority, trying to get chunks of damage. And Nami also doubles with the ultimate as well as bubbles being a lot easier to land when your opponents are engaging, you know, towards you. So maybe they will be able to set up some of that defensive play and be able to use both sides of the double-edged sword.
It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how Massu can perform though, because you know when you do look at how explosive the C9 side is, you know, Lucian needs to be dashing in, needs to be in their face, but there's a Yone, there's an Ambessa, there's a Maokai, there's so much burst damage and lockdown for this AD carry if you overstep, you know, if you misplay. So he has to be on it.
Well, final comments from the coaches. And we'll see if Cloud9 can trust in Anero and Reaper to make it happen over the line, or if FlyQuest go for a 2-0.
I like the swagger from Anero and Reaper too. They got up there earlier, you know.
Come on, Anero's we didn't need anything else.
Neck tattoos, walking up, like intimidating.
Non-subscribers, we will see you in 30 seconds. And as you said, FlyQuest looking to try to push us to an early match point. Cloud9 obviously going to be doing their best here to battle back. It does feel like game one, you know, relatively close, but Entire made such a difference. I felt like in the early game, played incredibly well. You know, was constantly attacking Thanatos. And I do think, you know, especially with the pairings that we see on the Cloud9 side, that Blaber is going to play more heavily towards his top laner, not allow a repeat of game one.
Incredibly excited for this one because game one was action-packed.
Yeah,
very exciting opening to this. And if we start towards the mid lane here with Quad having his stun charged, I like the insight that you gave during Champion Select, Phreak, for the people that weren't watching.
For what it's worth.
Yeah, you already knew.
For the people that weren't watching, though, he was mentioning the effectiveness of the anti-shield into Yone's E trading pattern because of the snapback and the value of blocking that damage. But Blaber here going to walk straight in.
Woo. First damage, Quad 100% of all damage dealt.
But he's not first strike. No!
Oh, that could have been 6 goals!
This is why we brought you back. That kind of play-by-play right there.
Yeah. I still have a memory of casting from like 2012 where blue team is invading top lane red tribe rush, and we have like visions. We know no one's there. And they switch vision back to blue seed. And I'm like, they're running in the tri. Are they going to find somebody? And I'm like, no, I literally know they're not. What am I doing? And I've kept that in my head for like 13 years.
You know what I always think of when I think of casting with you is your win call for Cloud9 as
I knew you were going to say that.
My personal favorite is the quadra kill for Huni. Another gem there from Phreak.
Top two moments for sure.
Thanks, guys. I'm always a fan of the faithful shall be rewarded for CLG.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just dish out compliments to everybody through this whole cast.
How about compliments for the players? Because we're here. We're here.
You're here too.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm here too. And so are the teams who are doing well.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, last time they met, of course, it went to all 5, so never count out Cloud9 just yet. Both trading pretty low in the early game here between Bwipo and Thanatos. Level 2 Spike. Yeah, Thanatos doesn't get to use E in the trade because he couldn't kill that last minute in time.
They're trading very heavily on this top side, though. It's getting pretty spicy, but both junglers are pathing top to bot, so we'll see if anyone wants to do anything super crazy. But it does feel like these are two players who are not just going to back down.
Wait, he might kill him! Ooh, I think a minion tanked the melee part of that Q. It looked like it did really little damage.
And this is actually even before the next round of buffs for Aatrox that are on live right now that did increase the healing that he would be getting there. So not even the full power that Bwipo could be utilizing.
Oh, and look at Inspired. He actually did do those top 3 camps and then walked back up to try to cover this. And this is the FlyQuest roster. Have been together for the full 365 days. You can see not a long time that teams are given generally as a full 5 these days. Rosters do not stay together long. If you're losing, even sometimes if you're winning, changes are made very, very quickly. So they actually are the longest standing Tier 1 roster at this time.
Yeah, Inspired, unfortunately for him, he does waste a decent amount of jungle time because of his visit towards top side. Then when he's passing through mid, he just wants to cross through the other side. Can't really get any effectiveness out of showing through mid either. But when you're playing the Trundle into Maokai, that's why you often do kind of go for some aggressive plays, because you do have an advantage in the 1v1, even when you are down a level. But does mean Blaber is going to get his coveted crab off the bottom side uncontested.
And he might be able to actually just go for a double scuttle because Thanatos has the push. I mean, it's always the worst feeling as a jungler when you go for an early gank, you can't find the angle, and then you look back to that lane and they're losing in the 1v1. And that's kind of the situation that he is in right now. And Blaber is going to go topside, so he will be able to get that double scuttle, full 8 camp clear, just straight power farming. He is going to be out to a nice early advantage here, and you can see Thanatos has Bwipo locked under the tower right now.
Yeah. The last time that we saw Thanatos play Ambessa versus FlyQuest, he hard carried the game. And it's one of the reasons that you said you have a lot of respect for him on this champion, because he is so fearsome. Now, I want to see some very good CC combos, actually, from the top side of the map from them, since they can layer them so effectively. Bwipo is going to have to be very scared, especially once Maokai starts getting level 6. That plus an Ambessa would be very, very dangerous for Aatrox to deal with. Bottom side as well. The double poke, always a fun side to be the ones poking. Not so much receiving.
Has been years. You are not wrong. 2022 Worlds last time. But yeah, good to be back here for this one. Of course, Flowers will be back for the regularly scheduled Game 3, but Bwipo already into the bot. So yeah, we'll see. He might call in sick. We'll see what happens. But pretty heavy trade there. Ultimately, it does delay Zven's trip back to base, as it would have gotten frozen on. They're just going to send Lucian to the top side as well. So Massu got equal farm on his recall, not the end of the world, and Bwipo's catching this. So be okay catching top side as Thanatos, I think, holding a freeze up on top.
Yeah, if Thanatos actually didn't base. He stayed up around top lane, so he hasn't got back to base yet. He still has his TP. He is holding a freeze, so the wave is coming in towards him. Massu likely to be able to obviously break that freeze. He has his buy, but Thanatos should be able to collect that wave and get pretty far ahead.
Q-Flash? Yep, he had to predict it.
Yeah, that's why Bwipo, he went for the play. He's just like, all right, you are going to have to respect my Q3 flash. And Zven does.
And this is both the side lanes from Cloud9 who didn't take early bases, and there is a punish on that. He's just on a Doran's Blade. He's not at a strong part of the game whatsoever, but it does mean Thanatos collects this wave that he did have frozen. Yes, it gets pushed in, but he is up over 10 CS now on where Bwipo is, so going to be feeling pretty good about his situation, and it's going to have a really big first buy because he still has yet to go back to base. He's sitting on almost 1,500 gold.
This is a kind of cool macro play. Like, FlyQuest are here with, obviously, the numbers. They knew they forced Zven back. It's his, flash barrier, so no TV back. You sometimes see that on Azael's, but it means that they have the map prio, and even the Lucian on the other side of the map, they are happy to take this dragon. Well done.
Yeah, well done by them to get their first objective. The minions, on the other hand, didn't even up on the bottom side since there weren't enough for Bwipo to hold a freeze or anything. So it is slow stacking here away from him. Now that Vulcan and Zven have come back to the lane, they are going to reapply that pressure, even with Zven not having his flash.
Yeah, this is a small thing, but pretty annoying. Quad actually held his stun until the cannon was very low for Loki, and then stunned him to deny the cannon, so his own minions actually were able to finish it off. Small thing, but pretty frustrating. And now just going to use Tibbers here to get pressure in the lane. Obviously, knows Loki has no TP, and he's not on Vamp Scepter or anything. He did go to the standard Berserker Greaves early.
A big trade on the top side there, 2v1. Thanatos gonna go for the ulti onto the back. Cleanse does enough damage. Thanks to Maokai being here. Cleanse gets popped, trying to get away, but the support cannot leave. Busio drops. First blood for Thanatos.
That's that Maokai Ambessa combo we are talking about. The CC is too much. Really nice sneak play out of the brush, but Inspired on bottom side now.
Low health on Bwipo. Zven, though, not 6. Might not have a way to do anything. Gets an arcane shift away.
The tether procs right in front of Zven's face. Those Trundle teeth were so close to him. He's still fine, though. Arcane shift, no problem for him.
And Thanatos still hasn't even based, and Bwipo is in some trouble now. Inspired's got to block the Q.
Yeah, that might have been lethal otherwise.
Yeah, so Thanatos is going to go back to base with 2,400 gold on his first base. He still had not yet based when he got that first blood. And then their play on the other side goes wrong, so Cloud9 in a wonderful position now. 1K up, and Thanatos is very far ahead. Zven building a pretty good lead for himself as well.
Well, maybe a camp steal, knowing Inspired was down there, had to tank some shots. Smite, yep, there you go. And Blaber, of course, already on Faded Ashes, so rushing for the magic damage here. You can definitely go for a lot of looks on the Maokai. As you had mentioned, went for the phase rush play here as well. So, yeah, he and Ezreal kind of all the magic damage on the team.
Yeah, we can see this one more time. Thanatos, of course, was spotted on this ward, but with his jungler moving up to top side, he's saying, you know what? It doesn't actually matter. I can just take this fight. You know, respect the fact that he realized his position. He doesn't actually just back off. Massu is fairly low here. He looks for the ulti. It looked like it was going to attack Busio. Goes through, gets Massu. The CC is there. The cleanse came out a little bit early from Massu, and they just take the kill onto Busio pretty easily.
And the big thing I want to highlight there is the timing. It was actually just very unfortunate for FlyQuest and Busio because they decide to walk up. Busio moves up just as Maokai arrived into vision on the ward that was in that tri-brush. So it was actually just perfect for Cloud9, as then you got the ideal timing for Thanatos to go in and the Maokai ultimate to get started. Sometimes your timing just works out so nicely and it feels perfect.
You can see a 20 CS lead now on the top side. Bwipo going to try to 1v2, but Arcane Shift makes that not likely. Vulcan, oh yeah, good root, good damage. Still though, it's going to be fine. He's got flash, so not really in danger.
Yeah, you can see though, Thanatos having a much better time, you know, in this position, in this 1v2. The wave getting pushed into him. He's very high on health, so he's going to be able to collect the wave. Whereas there's always threat for Bwipo now this low, that he might just get zoned off some of these minions as they do crash. And Thanatos will be able to collect this very, very easily. Vulcan not going to be able to put enough pressure on by himself. Of course, Zven now moving to be able to actually get a deep ward here. But with those early grubs, they're going to be continuing to put this pressure on and slowly whittling away on these towers.
And FlyQuest are very well aware of the dangers of letting Thanatos get money on Ambessa. The last time C9 played Ambessa versus them was actually the last time Cloud9 even won a game versus FlyQuest. And they did play heavily towards him and focus him and were rewarded later. So everybody well aware of the possibilities, but I still want to see what Quad is going to be able to do offensively with this Annie. Sometimes you can have some really big roam plays. He does have the phase rush in addition to his flash here, and has been doing a good job for the side of FlyQuest. He is the lone person with a lane lead on the side of FlyQuest, putting out a lot of pressure individually. Maybe he can also carry them as far as a setup for a team fight or a roam play.
No, plates. No, stay in range. Okay, 125, he's fine.
Yummy.
Bwipo getting a little bit of money back.
Yeah, just doesn't want to walk all the way up knowing that Thanatos now has the Shojin completed.
Oh, yeah,
he
that's
is
South Bar.
way stronger at this point in the game. So Bwipo going to have to play very respectfully. Down 600 gold, but of course, going to be happy to get the plate. Blaber down here on this bot side, looking to try to put a little bit of pressure on.
Oh, Maokai ulti's on. Busio not having a good way out. There's the cleanse to walk away, but good luck getting away as Nami picked off again. Zven gets a second kill.
C9 feeling some fish for dinner here. 2 kills onto Busio. They can stick around and deny Massu even more. Looks like Massu's
He has no cleanse. They can dive.
Yeah, 1v3. This is not going to be likely for you. It's a good second plate. Who's going to pull aggro first?
Get the cannon.
Smite to get it. There you go. He's going to walk, but now the root is guaranteed. He cannot outplay this. Blaber will tank forever. Sven's got to drop aggro. He is fine. Feet of Warfare 3-0 Cloud9.
I thought he was going to at least get the cannon before he died, but he dashed away from it, and he doesn't even get that. And C9 here in game number 2, pushing back so nicely. Let's see, though. FlyQuest actually wrapping around.
Yeah, they're getting onto the Annie. Bit of damage coming back, though. Knock up there for the Yone. Not enough damage to kill, though. They're going to have to walk back out. Ooh, bubble lands, but no follow-up damage just yet. Still trying for the dragon. Cloud9 feeling good enough. Loki stepping up yet again. Doesn't have ulti, does have flash. Going to stack that Q back up. Inspired wants to walk in. Looking for a smite fight. Nami wave comes across, smited Cloud by Blaber. And they're going to slick now for Tibbers to deal the damage. Blaber walking away safely. Inferno blazes, and with the pillar, might just die. They get the stun. Do they have the follow-up? They're going to try to come in there. Big damage coming to Loki. Please, there you go. Massu claims the kill. Finally, FlyQuest on the board.
Yeah, they are able to get that kill back at the end of the day. Punished for that flash he traded out onto Quad, but it's topside now. Thanatos fighting with Bwipo.
I mean, should be stronger. It's Legendary versus not. Gets yoinked back, though, but even with level lead.
Oh, here's TP.
Thanatos doesn't know just yet. Should see it on his screen now. Quad's going to walk up. No stun available and no kill.
Yeah, no flash now as well. Let's see. I mean, he still has his completed item, so still should feel very confident and wave pushing towards him. But let's see. That Cloud9, I mean, it dropped a little bit as far as their gold lead, but 1.5k, 1.6k here, very nice for them. They still have their dragon. They have their 3 grubs as well. Does not stop the recall, though.
Try. Yeah, it was a guess. Maybe you could have been a Gromp steal, but nothing to see there. They wait for the next wave, spam Q, get it back.
I say, once again, Zven here getting a lot of money early on AD carry. Last time it was the Poke Varus. He had a very big impact for Cloud9. Wasn't enough, of course, in the end, as FlyQuest did a very good job attacking him in those team fights. But this time around, on another champion that he is very, very comfortable on, his Ezreal, with his Trinity Force, already a very smooth start for that Ezreal. Could be just what they need, because he does outrange everybody on FlyQuest. He is going to be the one that, again, is going to need to apply some poke damage, and it has a lot easier time staying safe than the Varus.
Yep, and just grabbed a couple of plates mid lane, so now over 2K in the lead here. They, of course, already have the Feat of Warfare. They're one off the objective feat as well. They have a dragon, they have the grubs, so going to be looking potentially for this next dragon, or maybe a play later towards that Herald, but Cloud9 definitely in a really strong spot so far, and it's going to be up to FlyQuest to try to problem solve. And I feel like, in these positions, it's going to be about, can they get good chip damage out with the Lucian prior to the fights? Can they find a really good engage, with quad to try to, turn the tables when you're down 2K?
That'll be hard because the front line's reasonably tanky. Even AP Maokai is still a melee champion who's built Leandries, and you've got, Ari on Karma to make sure you're not getting one shot. So Burst going to be a little difficult on the FlyQuest side, honestly. And so, yeah, have to wait to see how the team fights actually shake out and who can get picked off and who can actually get kind of burned down over time, because no one really has quite the one-shot unless you put a lot of people into it.
Yeah, I'm also worried for FlyQuest's problem of what do you do against this Maokai ultimate? You don't have anyone who really wants to tank it, because even though Trundle can ult someone and get tankier, you rush a Trinity Force, you still can get focused down. It can be fairly dangerous when you see that Maokai ultimate coming towards your team and know that somebody's going to get focused.
And a good angle in there, can shift now. Can no longer land the rest of the culling, but under the tower, Loki, yeah, they're going to try for this dive, and no one's around. He's going to try to stack up his Q, gets away from the R. I mean, I get a tank to make him go less far, but realistically, he's out every time. So ulti down, Thanatos alive. Next dive in for Blaber. It's going to be Maokai pulling aggro first. Do they have the damage? The question. You got to make sure they dodge the Q3. Flashed onto Zven to try to get a bit more, and it might mean he buys enough time. Ult over the top means they might have it, and Zven lands a shot again. 4-1 Cloud9.
Yeah, they overload the top side, so they are going to get this tower. Bottom side, though, is actually still pushing. With a Trundle, you annihilate turrets. Trundle with Trinity Force absolutely annihilates them. So I want to see if FlyQuest can finish off that bottom side secondary, because that thing is bigger rewards if you can actually get it than the outer towers.
And you can see Loki was desperately trying to defend that mid lane tier 1 and sparking this pretty low, but he is playing with fire a bit. He is quite low.
I don't know if they have the damage, though.
Yeah.
Here he takes some damage. Mid outer goes down, but still bot tier 2 under fire as well.
Yeah, I mean, even with that dive on top side, they do close the gold lead a little bit there. So FlyQuest playing the map well, taking some jungle camps away, getting that tier 1 bot and the tier 1 mid, putting the tier 2 bot quite low, which is going to be some standing gold for them to try to pick up later on. Of course, those tier 2s on the side lanes have such big rewards, and Inspired is still here, but if he gets spotted, could be problematic.
I want to point as well, this Mikhail's Rush, which is pretty popular here, is going to be able to save somebody from the Annie engage that is coming their way. So Quad definitely has to have that in mind.
Oh, another good culling this time. It actually is going to burn the flash. Zven could not find a way out of it. Nicely done.
Yeah, couldn't actually build enough space there with the Arcane Shift. And, talking about problem solving for the Maokai, obviously, he is playing Lucian Nami, so he's not going to go Mikhail's first, but I would expect to see it second from Busio. He is definitely a big fan of this. On a lot of champions, he's rushing that item, so I do expect to see him go in towards the Mikhail's as the second item. Obviously, that'll be quite some time, but then you just try to have Trundle or Aatrox or whoever block it, instantly Mikhail's them, and use that as your response. So we'll see if FlyQuest can find a way to kind of buy time for that to happen.
Turret Glam, thank you for the money. And we're going to see what Bwipo can do on the other side of the map, but looks like Cloud9 just owns the map now, so able to check their boxes and grab their second Drake. Still good on FlyQuest across map and functionally trade a Dragon for 500 gold. As, C9 couldn't really spare the resources to guarantee top couldn't be pushed. It's going to have Wolves maybe help. A little bit of damage, doesn't really matter. Thanks for the leash, buddy.
Yep, FlyQuest obviously going to be pushing up through that top side, trying to threaten Thanatos here, but he's well aware that they could be in the area, staying very defensive, backed by his tier 2. Not going to walk up to collect the wave, he's just going to have to sit there and wait. While you can see Vulcan is heading down to try to cover him, make sure that they can actually play towards this. And it just feels like FlyQuest clearly don't want to look for fights. They want to overload one side of the map and really try to utilize their number advantages.
If they land that bubble, they might have gone for the kill, but realistically just send 4, send Demolish, and they are just chunking this down. Plus 750, nicely done. Cloud9 feeling you know, a little rough about the fact they've lost 4 towers now.
I like that brute force, you know, from FlyQuest, yeah, because they're in a tough spot. And so cross-mapping, but then still sticking around to get a second objective afterwards is something you don't see a lot of teams do. So nice by FlyQuest to actually know their limits there. And even with Thanatos, you know, in their face trying to clear some minion waves, knowing that they can just brute force another tower.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you have Demolish on Bwipo, you have Trundle here with the Triforce who absolutely destroys towers, and they're just kind of overloading one side of the map. They don't want to have a fair fight. They're looking for 2v1s, 3v1s, 4v2s, you know, these types of plays. And as a result, they have actually brought back the gold lead a little bit. You know, it has been slowly shrinking over these last couple of minutes, and obviously the further you get into the game, the less that gold lead is going to mean. So FlyQuest, I think, in a pretty good spot now that, you know, in 3.5, you can see they've completed their second item here already for Massu. And they're going to have 2 items in for most of their players, I think, by the next time this dragon spawns. And that's likely where they'll look to fight.
Yeah, Massu has gone for the rapid fire Lucian to try and deal some of that poke damage back. Get your Nami buff, go for your rapid fire, you know, poke, and then try and get a good culling on top of it. But Cloud9 are in the river first with their control wards. Looks like they're going to have to give ground since FlyQuest bring quad and inspired as well. And once again, with the power of sheer numbers and force here, they actually push Cloud9 out, and they're able to clear some of that vision.
And you can see they were even threatening Bwipo. Bwipo walked down here away from that top side, so Cloud9 was really respecting it. Of course, there is a cost to this style of play from FlyQuest. You know, if you are overloading one side and you're not actually cashing out on a play, then guess what? Cloud9 is farming more places on the map, and they are looking for an engage here.
Well, Cloud9 farming fish if they can. Then to get away from it, the cleanse, but no, he's still going to get rooted up by Maokai. Gets pushed around. Bwipo yet again just drops. Vulcan gets the kill credit this time around.
Busio has just had a target on his head all game long, and C9 make it look easy. Another kill on the support picked up. Thanatos, because that kill was so quick too, okay, he did lose a cannon minion, but that's it. You know, he gets back to bottom side as the minions arrive here, so C9 very efficient with that kill.
Yep, and Busio, I felt like maybe he could have flashed to the right instead of trying to go up to get away. You know, maybe chose the wrong direction there, but at the end of the day, he loses the flash end, doesn't actually get the flash out of Blaber, still dies, so they are definitely picking on him. You know, Massu was even standing there to block the ult, right? You know, was able to cleanse it, try to create that space, create the opportunity for Busio to get away, but it was not enough. And at the end of the day, it's another easy play there for C9, and now Vulcan down here to hover, just making sure that they're covering Thanatos. They know that FlyQuest wants to attack these side lanes, try to overload those side lanes, and they're making sure that it's going to be an even number fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think your comeback spot right now, if you're FlyQuest, is get a good gank here at the Otacon. It does a pretty good job of shredding and dealing damage. Not quite Baron status, but certainly scarier than Dragon. So if they can try to fight for their own Tri-Brush here, obviously Maokai trying to make that not possible, one of the benefits of this jungler.
Yeah, the sapling, so annoying, especially when you do go the Andrews build.
All right, well, TP's getting sent across. Yone's going to be here. Can FlyQuest stop? They have no vision right now. Someone's got to tank these saplings. Inspired takes them. Get the other one as soon as possible. It's a dot. Okay, gets basically maximum DPS from the saplings. And at this point, no one's going to walk in. No, he's going to still try. 4K health. He wants to smite. The smite means everything. Can he get their flash Q? No, he's going to kill Stry. He's going to still try. Can he get it? Loki takes him down, but it's traded back. Bwipo claims it. However, the kill still looking pretty good on the side here. Quad getting low. No, still trading down. Bwipo is on a mission to get what he can. Follows him, but he's rooted up by Maokai, and he has nothing much else to do. Busio will try to help. Bwipo gets one hit, but it's not enough. Zven is left alive to clean up after all said and done.
Well, FlyQuest may be able to get that Otacon, but it cost them all of their lives. C9 in the end collecting.
I want to see what happened with the smite here. Did Blaber misclick? Was it a smite on the Aatrox itself?
The smite cooldown I saw was used, so we'll see where is the indicator.
Because it got down incredibly low, so he definitely didn't have smite as it was dying, because it was sitting at like 600 HP for a while. No. He would have smited for sure. I'm just curious if he used it early to actually try to kill the Trundle. It's down to about 2K. They obviously are going to turn on to the Trundle. They look for Inspired here immediately. And let's see when it is actually used here. As Bwipo's coming in, smite's still available. And it's down to 1400.
Yeah, Aatrox. Oh, he smites the champ instead.
Yeah, it was just a misclick there. So he looked for the Q smite. The timing was right, but the positioning of the mouse was wrong. And ends up getting punished pretty heavily there. Giving over the Otacon. That is a pretty significant buff. That's a lot of combat stats. And Cloud9, though, back to live and back to the Dragon.
Here we go, looking for the Dragon itself. Zven, of course, quite low here, bottom of the front lines, but so is Thanatos and claims one on the way for Busio now as well. But on the backside is Bwipo trying to carry from the top side. Both doing as well as they can, certainly. Blaber now pretty low. Inspire got to kite it out, though. Trying to get away from Zven. Zven jumps in, one more Q. Not quite going to land it. Loki on the board now as well. Zven flashes. Otto's going to do his job, and Busio, I'm sorry, buddy, you're running out of health here. First, though, is Bwipo. Jumps over the wall. Tries to get Q2. Gets away with it. Nicely done by Zven, but now they're corralled back here. When is the E back up? Goodbye, Busio. Goodbye. He's going to drop. Thanatos gets the kill credit. 14-4, Cloud9.
Woo, right back out to live and right back out to Cloud9, taking more off the map. The Dragon is theirs. That's Soul Point. Mid tower will also go down, and maybe Bwipo.
Oh yeah, Bwipo's in a 1v4. You're not living through this one, buddy. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Turret will drop as well. Defends nothing.
Yeah, not going to be able to stop them. And Zven now 8-0-2, getting monstrously fed on this. The only two teams that FlyQuest has lost to all split long, Shopify Rebellion and Cloud9. Those are the only ones who have been able to actually take them down whatsoever. And Cloud9 looking to close the gap in the series score here a little bit, as FlyQuest is currently sitting at 7-5 overall. We can see this Dragon one more time. It's really a lot about the top laners, both Thanatos and Bwipo getting into the back lines, but you can see the peel from Vulcan making so much of a difference, while Thanatos is just there deleting him.
He 1v2'd the bottom lane, and it was not close. They did, look at that. It's
There's
like
a Maokai ult.
200 damage to Thanatos, yeah. Maokai ult plus Ambessa is so powerful. I will also say, you know, the other C9 player that we are focused on in addition to Thanatos, Zven on his Ezreal, and how he's set up in this game to be very close to untouchable with outranging, you know, all these FlyQuest members and being able to evade a lot of the CC, doing quite well.
Nice, guys. Legendary. Just personally.
He is indeed. 8 kills here for Zven and another Maokai ult.
There we go. Thanatos on the side, but gets away with it onto the Annie. Oh, and Yone's over the top. It's only 1-for-1 so far. Huge turnaround by Bwipo to keep them in this game. They got to run, though. They're going to try the best they can. C9, though, still on the chase. They're going to get a sapling slow, but Zven is running as far forward as he can, looking for Inspired. He can try to fight over the wall. Bwipo to turn it around, looks for the Q3, and Arcane Shift keeps him safe. Bwipo locked up, trying to heal, rooted up in place. Can he fight Zven? He cannot get anything out, and Zven continues to be legendary, knocking him down.
Yeah, Bwipo having to sacrifice himself there because it was just going to be Zven continuing to chasing them down, looking for that kill, but it's going to be Cloud9 now heading to the Baron right on spawn. Objective bounties already available for FlyQuest. Cloud9 is just running away with them.
Inspired does not have flash. Even if he ran straight to Baron right now, he cannot get in there. So that
deal 0 damage.
There you go. It will be Cloud9 wearing purple as they match back onto the map. This is now Soul Point, 8,000 gold lead, and with Baron buff, they should be able to get even more than that before
Thanatos is hunting.
The Dragon arrives.
Yeah, kills are worth extra thanks to claiming Otacon. The team coming around, but Quid has backup. Thanatos, look, in the interest of a close game, go for it anyway, buddy. I mean, you see Nami on a ward?
I think he wins these, I'm not going to lie.
I bet he could 1v2.
All right, in the interest of exciting fights, go for it, buddy. Flash R.
He's not going to go for it. He wants to win finals here, Phreak. Not entertain you.
Oh.
But maybe he'll do both.
Could do both.
Yeah, he could
yeah
do both.
you could do both.
Why not both?
Yeah. And Zven and Blaber here, again, back invading, stealing away this blue buff. Loki now level 16 on the Yone, has a QSS as well, so he's going to be able to play that much more aggressive. Feels like so many of these luxury items start to come through, and it gets that much harder. I mean, you're looking at the Edge of Night, you're looking at a Shield Bow, you're looking at the Mikhails, you're looking at all these things to kind of shut down your opportunities to get a pick or get a kill. And the job for FlyQuest is just going to get that much harder. Feels like Cloud9 on the precipice of tying up this series.
Which does bode well for our finals going a very long time
More
here.
than 3 games.
Looks like more than 3 games.
That would definitely increase our chances.
It would,
Yeah. See if we can last longer than Valorant yesterday. Try.
We don't mention Valorant here, Phreak.
Oh, okay. I love all of our esports equally.
We don't.
That's fair. Yeah, but see, in Valorant, we're actually good.
Oh,
Wait, didn't you watch FlyQuest at Worlds? Come on now.
yeah, just you
You
wait.
almost beat Gen G.
Just you wait.
All right, yeah. Well, the base is in shambles right now for FlyQuest. Cloud9 stepping up pretty well. First inhibitor go down, second one now opened up. TP flank comes in. What can Bwipo do with this? They're gonna have to try. This is kind of their moment. He's on the flank, he's gonna find Zven! Zven's been hit, he's got almost all of the gold, but he's going to live for now. Yone picks up one, it's already a bad look. Inhibitors dropped in mid lane. Quid's gonna try to die, try to live, he's low. Thanatos gets out as well, but now Loki is still farming up kills on the board. Zvenmo looking good on the 10 now. He's got a ton going on. There goes the last of the turrets. There goes the Nexus. Cloud9 wins game 2. We've got a series on our